Hello, this is a Tradesight stock market preview for Tuesday, August 13th, 2013. I'm going to keep this very brief as there's not a lot to add talk about for today's trading. Here's a look at the S&P daily chart. We did not end up with a positive day today. We ended up with a slightly negative day, so therefore we did not get our Seeker 12th count towards that 13 sell signal we were looking for. We had a very, very limited day, narrow range. I'll show you the intraday action in a moment. So it really doesn't change anything about the picture from what we were looking at coming into the week. It was, again, just a 1.3 billion share day on the NASDAQ, which is very, very light, one of the lighter volume days of the year. Same as the prior Monday. So we just seem to be stuck in this Monday zone where the Mondays in August are poor. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday last week were much better. Friday this week, we already know, will be slow because of options expiration. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ 100, still operating off of the 13 sell signal. That's still the high, but again, I think I'd like to get that signal on the S&P as well if possible. So let's see if we can get that kind of 2 days of uptick to get us a 12th and 13th bar. NASDAQ had a slight gain today because Apple was up very strong. I'll show you the Apple chart in a moment. Semiconductors, really just another flat day, and the biotechs actually had a negative session. So the reason the NASDAQ was up is because of Apple. Here you can see the update. They did announce that they have their next iPhone event to launch the iPhone 6 or 5S or whatever they're going to do on September 10th. That came out over the weekend, and that's probably why the stock is up today. Let's take a quick look at some of our other big ones, our generals as we call them. Amazon dead flat for the session. Google dipped just a little bit. We had a nice trade winner in Netflix, but overall still looks fairly flat. That's about it. Wasn't a very exciting day. I can show you oil real quick as well. Barely positive. We did see gold higher on the session, and you can see the gold level could here have a little breakout, although this green static trend line is probably going to be a wall if we get there on gold. Now, let's take a look at the intraday action. Here's the ES futures. This, to me, was almost untradeable, and here's why. We got a little gap down. We surged almost immediately in the first 10 minutes. Okay, and then the rest of the day is outside of those 10 minutes. Took us another 30 to get up and fill the gap from Friday's close. And the rest of the day after those first 10 minutes was essentially a 5-point range on the S&P, which is not really a tradable environment in my opinion. Interesting is you don't see it on this chart, but the exact high of the day is the pivot on the ES. So definitely respecting the technical levels, even if we're going nowhere. Here's the NASDAQ side. You can see the gap down. This side filled the gap within 10 minutes, went a little bit higher. The high of the day on the NASDAQ on the NQs was the value area high, kind of 9-bar setup that stalled us out. And then after that, NASDAQ goes sideways as well, despite the push in Apple. And if you look at this compared to where we've been the last week, really nothing special. There's nothing new to say based on yesterday's action. We do have trade balance in the morning. That could cause a gap. We are heading towards options unraveling on Wednesday or Thursday. We'll see how that goes. So we'll be calling it in the lab. We've already posted our calls for tomorrow. There's several of them, some nice chart patterns, and we'll be looking at intraday stuff as well. Have a good trading session.